You can't make another person happy. You literally cannot control their emotional experience. Notice also that you probably can't even control your emotional experience 100%. We all have bad days, and not like everybody's like, cool, sign me up for 3 bad days in a row and then I'll have 2 good ones. Like, we cannot manage our own emotional experience, and then you go and try to manage somebody else's. Think about it for a second. You think that your happiness is dependent on something that you can't control, which makes you feel totally disempowered. There's no way that you can feel good in a life where your happiness is out of your control 100% of the time. In this video, we're going to talk about 3 signs that you are confusing codependence with love. My name is Joe Hudson, and I'm a former venture capitalist who now coaches some of the most notable names in Silicon Valley. So the interesting thing is, when we find somebody that we're attracted to, whether it's a lover or just a friend, we're attracted to somebody who's in themselves, who feels empowered, who's living the life that they want to live. And that's what we're attracted to. But then in relationships over time, we start abandoning ourselves and we start running away from who we are to make the other person happy. And that's codependence. Not only does it erode the attraction that somebody felt for you because you're no longer in your power, but it also erodes your sense of self. So the first one is that you think you have to be a certain way to get love. If you are actually being loved because you're a certain way and not being yourself, you're not actually being loved. Think about that for a second. So if you have to present something to be loved, then they're loving what you are presenting. They're not actually loving you for who you are. And the thing about that is that it is crazy destructive. It is this feeling of, I can't be loved for who I am, which really means that I'm not loving myself for who I am. And it's really hard to love somebody who doesn't love themselves. It's a real complicated mess. And we've all done it. We all know what it's like to try to love somebody who's constantly not loving themselves. It's like dragging an anchor. It's just the whole time. It's really difficult. And so when you are presenting yourself, you're making it really difficult for the other person to love you. And that is part of the thing of codependence. It's that when you are codependent, it makes it really hard for the other person to love you. So the second way that you know that you're mistaking codependence for love is that you're scared to tell your truth. This is the way it looks. Oh, if I say that, they will get angry. If I say that, they will fall apart and then they'll just be worthless. Or if I say that, they'll be so disappointed and they'll get depressed. Anything like that basically says your emotions are more important than my truth. And what's even worse about it is that by protecting them from your emotions, you're telling them that they're not capable. You're telling them that they're not strong. You're telling them they need to be caretaken for them to be okay. So you're not only making them disempowered, you're also making yourself disempowered by saying that my truth can't be handled. And it's an amazing thing. It's just like a disempowerment thing that happens when codependence gets there. And it's why marriages where there's a heavy codependence, everybody starts feeling more and more disempowered until finally they're like, I just got to get out of here. I need a place where I can feel like I'm myself again, like I can make something happen in the world again, where I can have influence again, because every time I come home, I feel like I can't speak my truth. I had a client that was in a marriage and they had stopped speaking their truth. Everything was about managing the other person's emotions. I can't say that because they'll get upset, or I can't say that because they'll lose their shit, or whatever was happening. And the marriage was just dying. The sex was just going away. Everything was just dead. It was like walking into a room that was a library and the only thing that people could read was like the dictionary. It was like, ugh. And so the goal of this person was just to speak their truth. Whatever had to happen to speak their truth. Be gentle, be kind, but speak their truth. And they started to do it, and the marriage started to recover. And then the other partner in the marriage started to do it, and then it even got faster and faster. And it literally only took like 3 or 4 months of everybody speaking their truth with gentleness that the marriage could recover, because the codependence started falling apart and people started realizing in this marriage that my truth and being seen for who I am is more important than saving the marriage. It's more important than stopping the person from feeling upset, because if they can't see me, they can't love me. And if they can't see me, they don't know if this marriage is right. So I have to show up to be myself. And in that came the freedom that allowed them to love their marriage again. The final way you can see that you're confusing codependence with love is that you think their happiness will lead to your happiness. You think that if you manage their life and you make them happy, that you will become happy. And have you noticed you've been doing it probably for years and it hasn't freaking worked? There's no way that you can feel good in a life where your happiness is out of your control 100% of the time, because their happiness is out of your control 100% of the time. It is that sinking feeling in the bottom of your tummy that says, hey, I can't be happy because of somebody else. It's a very disempowering feeling. So typically, the way we get that idea is because early on in life, we thought that our parents' happiness would translate into our happiness. And notice that it never did. We never really could control our parents' happiness either. And even if they were happy, it didn't particularly mean that we were happy. And it's the same thing in a marriage or in a relationship. So what's a much more effective approach is to learn how to be with a person's emotion without trying to change it. Because when you try to change somebody else's emotion, what happens is they start to resent you. They say, hey, look, I can take care of myself. I don't need you to take care of me. And so there's this resentment because you're disempowering them. And so it's much better to just say, hey, I can be with you. You're angry, it's okay, I'll be with you. You're sad, it's okay, I'll be with you. And it's a far more empowering thing for you. It's a far more empowering thing for them. And it totally stops the codependence. And it's really easy to see it. Oftentimes you see somebody get sad and 10 people be like, it's okay. And that never fucking makes it okay. It never makes it okay. But if you see somebody they're sad and you just go, yeah, I get it. I'm right here with you, man. I'm right here. That's all that's ever necessary. Try it out sometime. It's amazing. So with those three things identified, the main thing here is that codependence is not love. And we mistake it. We say, oh, we're not loving unless we're taking care of the other person and trying to make them happy. We're not loving if we say something that hurts them. But their hurt, it's not in our control. Their happiness is not in our control. Real love is loving yourself so that you can love another person fully. All right, so if you like the video, feel free to subscribe or tell us what else you want us to make videos on in the comments below. And you can always just watch the next video.